broadcaster, and I forgot to turn on the recorder, and oh, this is going to be a great day. Anyways, welcome to Earth, Mind, and World Meditations with the one and the only Frank Jordan and the marvelous Earth Mind Think Tank. And you're live, my friend.
Good morning, everyone. Well, here we are, March 22nd, and we're just past the solstice and moving quite rapidly now towards spring. It's beautiful up here in the northwest. It's warmed up. The rain did substantial good benefit for everything involved, and spring is on its way. And so that brings us to a different feeling. I've been noticing all morning it feels different. There's like more of a hope in the atmosphere. The dredges of winter are trailing away from us, and hope is alive. Everything's beginning to reach for energy now, and I really love it in the spring when all the new grass and blooms are burgeoning and the leaves are coming out, because there's so much life force in the air, and that's just beginning now up here. Life force is beginning to stir, and it's an actual physical thing that happens. In order for things to grow and survive and be ready for the coming spring and summer and their new year, they draw energy from the subtle energy field and the life force, and with that energy coupled with the life force that comes from the sun is what generates new, what is the word? Force, energy, life. It just feels like everything's coming to life, and that feels wonderful. What's happening in Hawaii, Rich? How's things going over there today?
Well, we're starting to warm up a little bit here. Believe it or not, we've had rain for the last month. We've had more rain we've ever had, and I feel sorry for some of the tourists that come here and have to sit in their hotels for a week while it rains on the ocean. But it's beautiful here, and it's like you say, the whales are already leaving. They decided that they want to go up north and get some food, so they're starting to exit. But beautiful place.
Okay. And looking at the weather pattern this morning, that we requested a week ago did happen, but not as far north as what we could have hoped for, coming up out of the southern mid-ocean range next to the equator. So we do have moisture passing through the center of the country right now, and there is another big storm winding up out in the Pacific. And if we can drop that down, it has the capacity, if we can move the high pressure ridge off of the west coast here and this entire western region, we can bring that low in. And so I'd like to have everyone just take your awareness out into the Pacific now. It's though you were in the Pacific, in the center of that low. It's beginning to wrap up. It's out there probably 1,200 miles or so. And just feel yourself nudging that more towards the southeast. So it'll hit in the mid-level of California. That way everyone benefits, including the drought areas. Right now, the high will probably bounce around to the north of us. But as we move it in, visualize that high pressure ridge moving to the east, breaking up and moving to the ridge. And make sure you feel at one moment that you are that beautiful low that's forming out there. Work directly with the devas of consciousness that generate the storms. Pulled from earth mind and from the subtle energy consciousness of all living things in the west, the need for rain. Pull that into the coast, visualizing a week ahead. By next Saturday, we should see that energy hitting, only we want it further south, really see it wrapping it to the south and flooding California, Southern California. And when I say flooding, I mean in a literal way, because when it seems like they either get too little or too much rain all at once down there, but we're tempering that so that when it comes in, it's more of a steady flow. And all the areas that are burned, with a nice steady flow, it'll have time for the grass to take root and grow up through the burned areas. They won't go off in slides. That's an interesting feeling. We're really getting good at this, guys, and so with enough warning and preparation, we can manage the weather. All right, now let's hold that thought, and we'll reinforce it. So take your awareness into your forehead and move right straight back now, straight back into the soul center, and feel that expanded consciousness of the soul center as we tune in to all other souls embodied in form at this time. And our intent, our general intent, is to bring peace and harmony back into the world and to stimulate the financial system so that everyone will benefit equally, and see the cycles of life come back into harmony and normally. Now drop your awareness on down to the psychic level. And here's where we touch in personally with the people we know simply by thinking about them. So let's reach out now and just practice a little bit here. Reach out to someone you know, someone who needs love, and pull the flow of unconditional love through the back of your head, down your hands, down your arms and out your hands. Direct that flow to that person. And we do this with realization that the galactic energy is around us all the time. This is the life force of the subtle energy field that holds everything in form. But when we reach back and up through the backs of our head, we're activating that portion of our brain that reaches to the masters of the subtle realm, the thinkers, and they immediately respond to our request. But if we don't ask, we don't get. So this is why with intent we can direct energy. So let's use them now again to direct energy to that high pressure ridge on the west coast and break that down. It's sitting all the way in through the Rocky Mountains, and it's like, in this case, it's taking energy away from that high pressure ridge and directing it upper spines. This is a new technique we're being shown how to break down high pressure ridges, is to just engulf that energy, that high pressure. It's just a density of energy. That's what causes high pressure. Lift that up the spine and release it into the golden grid to reinforce our golden grid in the ionosphere. That's an interesting shift. Feel that energy just pour out of that high pressure region, and immediately we can feel the shift as we do this, as the low out in the ocean begins to move in to replace it. So now we project this into the future for a week, and particularly clearing the pressure in the southern western states. So we will draw that low pressure ridge into the southern states. Wonderful. That really feels good. We just learned a new trick here, and we'll see that happen. And project that into the future. And we feel it dissipate away as we extend ourselves into the future, which is really being created now. In this moment of now, we use our intent and power to be beneficial to all the creatures of the West. Now drop awareness on back into the subconscious mind. Feel that expanded state. Drop down the spine now to the heart center. To the 0 point. On down into the low self. To the root chakra. And on down into earth mind. And take our awareness to Southern California, the earthquake grid, and begin to release the stress buildup in Southern California and into the Baja of Mexico. Lift those energies upward now. And let's visualize this as,
wouldn't you know it, right in the middle of the most important thing we have to do today, listen to Frank, Skype goes wonky on us. Pardon me for coughing, folks. I'll be right back. Blasted anyhow. What happened to Frank? That we don't know. Oh, it looks like he's having big Skype problems. This is going to be a bizarre day. I got a feeling out there, folks.
Is there anybody there?
That's bizarre because Skype just simply went away.
Hi, Dave. This is Catherine.
I know who it is.
Oh, good.
I see the little white bar that says Catherine's talking. Welcome back, Dave. Welcome back, Susan.
Hello.
Welcome back, Mike.
Are we back again now?
Yeah, that was bizarre because I was sitting here and all of a sudden I said, what is this? Oh, my goodness gracious. Skype went wonky on us.
How long did it, were we off?
About 2 minutes.
Well, that's interesting.
Oh, here we are.
White bar.
We're back on.
Welcome back, Dave.
All right, I want to back up because we were doing a new thing here.
I
and
know.
Apparently Skype couldn't handle the energy.
Apparently not.
There was a lot of it.
Yeah, and feel that's what's happening now. We have a new thing happening. And I don't know why this never occurred to us before, but our intent this morning is to move that high pressure ridge so rain can come in from the mid-ocean and move to the south, into the southern states, to move that low down low. So the intent is to move that high pressure ridge, and then it hit me that if we would take that high pressure ridge up the
Hang on a
spine.
second. Diane, can you mute your mic, please?
Yeah.
As we lift the Southern California earthquake energies now, draw back into Earth Mind again, and lift those Southern California earthquakes up in a spiral, and that spiral acting like a tornado that lifts that high pressure along the west coast and inland. We're using energy to move energy, and it feels different. It feels incredible. We've got a new tool to work with here in controlling the weather. Lift that high pressure ridge up into the ionosphere and distribute it around the earth. And we see it transmuted into the golden grid as energy to protect us from solar flares. Now move that tornado northward to the San Diego area and have it move right on up the San Andreas fault line, picking up and lifting the stress energy and the high pressure energy along the west coast. Lifting it, and at the same time we're feeling the response from the low pressure spiral out in the mid-North Ocean now, Pacific Ocean, beginning to move to fill the space. Now move your awareness across to the Sierra Nevadas and continue the same thing. The full length of the Sierra Nevada range. Lift the earthquake energies occurring there in a huge spiral. Lift the high pressure region. Lift it up, let it go. Interesting. This feels incredible. We'll move further east now to the Rocky Mountain range and that fault line that runs all the way through to Las Vegas from the Yellowstone. It creates the Rocky Mountains, the subduction zone there. Lift that energy upwards, and with it lift the high pressure area away. Now, moving to the Yellowstone, extend your awareness down into the cauldron, lift that energy up, and mix it with the high pressure in the northern western states. Carry it upward, clear it. Also releasing. This is interesting because energy always moves in a clockwise direction. And when we create a tremendous spiral like this in the atmosphere, it acts like a magnet to draw the earthquake stress energies up. Fantastic. Now move your awareness to the west coast of Pacific Northwest. Continue to lift and spiral all that energy upward, sucking the high pressure ridge with it. Now what's interesting, up in the top of our brains, we can feel that high pressure ridge. And as we suck that ridge upward, it releases, it lessens. Now we have a new tool that we can temper storms with or move storms with. Now take your awareness northward to the Gulf of Alaska and on into central Alaska. There's just a rid of mid-range and small earthquakes. It just looks like a shotgun blast. It hits that mid-area now. Release that energy. This is all subduction zone. And what we may be doing here is preventing volcanic activity. That may be a response to the moon also, the moon cycle at this time. Now move your awareness down the Aleutian chain, scattering of small to mid-range earthquakes there, volcanic activity from the subduction zone of the Aleutian Trench. That whole chain of islands is a collision zone. We just had an interesting note come in from Free Sovereign. Due thought for reclearing the energies of drought areas, may we neutralize and transform the far ancient records of nuclear bombs formerly used in far antiquity over nearly all the desert regions of the world. That might be a contributing factor in the high pressure which has been keeping out rains over the desert for thousands of years. That's a wonderful idea, and we will follow up on that. Now move your awareness down the Kamchatka Trench to Japan. There's a 5-0 at Iwaki. This looks like it's in very close to the coast. Lifts that energy upward. Scattered energy to the volcanic regions of Japan. Now let's do the same thing. Let's, as we've done in the past, lift the energy from the reactors, the radioactivity, upward in a spiral. Into the golden grid. Now, since radioactivity is the focus of our intent, let's pull radioactivity from the Pacific Ocean, the Northwest Pacific Basin, as far as radioactivity has gotten into the sea. Lift that upward. Clear it, clear it, clear it. I've not heard too much about the radioactivity lately, so we know we're doing some good there. Now take your awareness southward to Taipei. Some activity there. Hulinian, Taiwan. And on south into the Philippines. The entire range of the volcanic activity is intensifying. Let's swing that down through Indonesia and the Java Trench, creating the crescent of Indonesia. Lift those energies upward. In the Andaman Sea, there's a very large concentration of underwater activity that's powerful enough to cause tsunamis. Lift that energy upward. This is volcanic activity, probably a new volcano. And move your awareness eastward to New Guinea and the Solomon Trench, and on to the Vanuatu. Very scattered activity there today. On down through the Tonga Trench, Kermadec Trench. We have a repeated earthquake in Foxton, New Zealand, 4.4. Lift that upward. And cross the Pacific to Argentina, to Chile, South America. There's very low level of activity until we get up to Bolivia and southern Peru, Iquique, Chile at 5.0, 4.9. Then on up the Peru-Chile Trench to Secura, Peru. This is in the subduction zone. There seems to be a lot less activity, but what is happening is more intense. So it's all releasing in specific areas. Release those stresses. On up to Central America. Subduction zone activity reacting in the inland volcanoes. And swing across to the Dominican Republic. Intense scattering of small range to mid-range activity there. Now eastward across the Atlantic to northern Algeria in the Portugal Trench. Lift that upward. And on through to Athens, Greece, Pyrogos. That one seems to be popping up every week. So that's ongoing activity, probably volcanic. Now move on the eastward to Uzbekistan. This is activity through the arc of the northern Himalayas. And in the plateau of Tibet, 5.1. Then across the Pacific back to our point of beginning in Southern California and to Oklahoma, Langston, Oklahoma. There's a lot of small activity. Some of them not so small, clear up to 5s there in the fracking zones. And on eastward in the New Madrid fault line, some minor shifting. And the Appalachians have some minor reactions to the fracking. Now we're going to move our attention to northern Africa, along the Tropic of Cancer. That entire region is under and has been under a high pressure ridge for thousands of years. It's created the vast desert in northern Africa. So we tune into the Sahara Desert and just feel the question we ask, is it appropriate for us to intervene? And the answer I get is no. And my awareness tells me that if we intervene and clear that now, the weather patterns will change, causing the moisture that comes into central to mid-range activity will become desert. And so we're going to study this one a little bit and find out what's appropriate. We can't interfere with set patterns like this without disturbing everything. But there must be a way we can work with that, so we'll study that through the future. Thank you, Free Sovereign, for that suggestion. But we don't want to dry out the jungles of Central Africa. All right. Bring your awareness back now to your own systems. Bring your awareness up your spine to the 0 point. And through the 0 point, accessing spiritual consciousness of the subtle energy field. We ask where we need to put our attention today. And again, we come back to humanity in general, and I feel a shift as we come to tap into the group mind consciousness of all humanity, that morphogenic field. It feels lighter than what I felt it in the past. Like the work we did in the equinox is having an effect in lifting the life spirit of people all over the world, raising their frequencies. It's like the optimism of spring is leaving behind, moving into dominion. So we want to empower that feeling of optimism, new life returning to earth, new potentials, new ideas, new ideals. And we spread that through the morphogenic field of all humans around the world, empowering the golden grid to act as a resonator, to continue resonating peace and love and harmony into the world consciousness, and the principles of dominion. Now I'm being told we can do an exceptional thing today. We can release from the dominator force of consciousness the responsibility to be a driver negative force to keep humanity moving. By that I mean our human system for thousands of years have been programmed to react and respond to survival. So now, and the opposition force has held us in those survival realms so that we would learn about right choice, to make right choice and not wrong choice. Now we can release and relieve the opposition force of that responsibility of teaching us by forcing us to make right choice if we're going to evolve and grow. So, opposition force, we thank you for a job well done, and we release you now from the responsibility of forcing us to rise in the frequency ranges and become high humans. We've learned the lesson. Now we know what to do. We know we're moving into the fourth dimension. And we know that by making right choice in every moment of now, we will accelerate that growth of consciousness and use the history of negativity that has so held the earth down for so long and it's so patterned into earth mind. We release earth mind of the responsibility of holding those negative energies also as we lift consciousness and release that flow into the atmosphere of every living thing. And we bring in a flow of unconditional love out our hands into the morphogenic grid, empowered by the galactic flow. We use the power of the galactic tones, which I can hear subliminally. The galactic tones empower higher consciousness in all living humans, teaching us to act and react in dominion rather than domination. Feel the tones down here, that deep resonance of earth mind. Feel the harmonics of earth mind and the vibrational frequency of earth itself lifting, raising up through the frequency ranges. And we hear the tone getting lighter. It's like earth itself breathing a deep Om, and then the tenure, the frequency of the Om is rising. And it feels wonderful. We feel the earth consciousness responding to us. We feel an incredible intensification of the power flowing through us now as we neutralize all negative establishments like the harp energy. We have a suggestion from David to divert the harp energy to feed the golden grid, or divert the energy from dark purpose databases, black ops computers, to clear hard drives and disappear the data, clear the drives, direct the energy back to unorganized matter. We feel our entire bodies now becoming resonators, breaking down the opposition force and all the established patterns and forms, lifting the awareness, neutralizing, clearing the dominator force. You see the energy those forces transmuting into positive, beneficial life force. And they feel the shift. This is interesting because this is a great amplification of what I was feeling before we began the meditation this morning. So it is already happening. It has already happened. And so it is. Come back into your own systems now. We have a few minutes if there are any requests. Bring your awareness up your spines, out into your frontal lobes. Open your eyes and be back in the physical world again. But notice we're holding that incredible resonance that we tapped into today. And that will continue. You'll continue to feel that. The world is changing. Okay, Dave, we're back.
Why, yes we are. This has been a very interesting day so far. And it's only going to get more interesting from where I sit. But this was absolutely a lovely meditation this morning.
Well, we don't really realize consciously what we did, but we can feel it. You feel that intensity that surrounds us now? Yes. That intensity is breaking down negative forms all over the world.
I would hope so.
Can you feel it in Hawaii, Rich?
Oh yeah, I'm reeling with this. There's pulsating energy vibrating. So as you're adjusting high pressure, it's affecting us over here dramatically because we've had these incredible winds blowing through here, like 40, 50 mile an hour wind. So there must be a low pressure trough below us that it's moving right across us, drawing moisture to us.
Yeah, that's that lower jet coming across there.
It's really beneficial to us because the islands survive off the rain, so
right.
We're not complaining, that's for sure. It's just a little bit.
Teresa, can you feel the force in eastern Canada?
I can. It actually physically caused my head to spin. And the temperatures, I'm in southern Ontario, and the temperatures are quite beautiful, and it's very near maple syrup time, and I can hardly wait for Gaia's gift.
All right, Diane, what are you feeling in Southern California?
Well, there's moisture coming in. I could smell it this morning. I had a little window cracked, and I could feel that it was not quite so dry. There's no static, which is wonderful. And when I went out this morning, the grass was pretty wet. The little weeds that were growing up were wet, and I had to wipe all my dog's feet off before we came back in. So that's beautiful for the spring. Getting everything planted and having that moisture come in is just right on time.
Well, I think within a week you're going to see a lot more hit there, too.
Great. I need it.
Any other suggestions today? If not, we'll look forward to tomorrow night. Do any of you have a particular topic you'd like to have Stephen bring through?
For today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Just a hitting for my friend of many years, Larry Couse, who just had the bottom half of his left lung replaced.
All right.
Or actually removed.
Remind us in the show, and we'll do that in the show.
I can do that.
That way everyone can learn from the idea. I think that tomorrow I'm being shown, too, that we're going to have more of you lead healings, so you get more experience in working in leading groups and healings, so that as you participate in your various groups and things, it'll come more and more naturally to you. All right. This flow is incredible. It's still just pouring out of our hands. There's a density to it that
My hands look like they're on fire. I don't know about the rest of you.
Yeah.
I don't know why you do that to me, Frank. But I look at my hands and they're red. That's amazing.
May the force be with you.
Thank you. It is. We have a lot of fun here, folks. We really do, but this is probably the most serious show that I am honored to host. I mean, produce.
Endless potential.
Thank you. And Catherine, I want to thank you for your little tip a little while ago, because guess what? I'm breathing clear now.
Very good.
Thank you. And Mike, I'll talk with you later.
Yes, sir.
We still have about 2 minutes.
Mike, we didn't get to your astrological reading.
I can give you a quickie if you want.
Well, good, and then we'll point it towards tomorrow night too. So
yeah, let's see if the intuitives can pick up anything. What I see both in helio and geocentric would be if you're looking at the perspective from being on Earth, and I believe helio is the sun. I see heavy aspects: Pluto, Mars, and Uranus. So we have Mars opposite Uranus, which would be kind of Mars is a planet of warlike planet and conflict opposite Uranus. Pluto is opposite Jupiter, so we have kind of we've got a lot of major direct aspects here, which means would have indicated that we had tensions building up that could be about passing Saturn is retrograde. And I have a list of events that these are written from the perspective of financial markets, but it's interesting because we might expect to see things changing. These analyze the lunation charts. The second half of course, we've just passed the solstice. March 23rd, Mercury is conjunct Neptune. And I notice on March 28th, Jupiter is hitting its maximum declination for the year, which means that it's as low below the equator as its orbit takes it. And I would expect that could be a time frame when you might start to see the prior trends and or tensions starting to change.
Mike,
or alleviate.
if you can give us a summation that we can put energy on to help make things happen, that's what I want.
All right, I'll see what I can do for you.
Thank you, guys. We love you all.
Bye-bye.
We'll talk to
Bye,
you.
everyone. Have fun, Dave.
I will. I'll talk to you all later.
Ah.